I can stop whenever I want. Can you though? Because we've already reviewed the 5 reasons why it's so difficult to stop buying, or why it's so hard to stop buying, and then why it's even harder in 2025. So you can go ahead and check those videos out. And yeah, I don't think it's actually as easy as what people make it out to be. Again, review the video for the 5 reasons now. Let's just add in being a creator, which means that you have these expectations on you in which you are, again, expected to chase at an unsustainable rate, even if you have no intention of wearing the shoe. And then we bring in the factor of, is that really truthful? Is that disingenuous? Yeah, we go spider into a lot of different areas when it comes to you adding in creating. And I'll say this too, I've observed recently that quite a few peers are making the decision to not create content in the same way in which they have for probably 6+ years. And that's being met with a lot of criticism, and people are clowning them for it. So heaven forbid someone chooses to move from one season or chapter of life to another one, especially if this all began as just a really fun creative hobby. And oh, also, by the way, not saying any of us all make the same, but I can speak for myself for what I end up earning from this, the amount of work that goes into planning out an actual video, possibly spending money on product to do a video or a review or anything similar to that. The actual filming, the editing, the post-production, and then you needing to engage with your community in the comments, that's a lot. And also, again, for the people that are, they have these sentiments towards the creators, it's not just towards creators. It can be towards anyone who has entered kind of this phase of life or this stage where they're like, hey, I'm going to pull back. I just don't want to do this as much as I have. I don't want to chase. I simply don't want this for myself anymore in the way that I did before. And that's a completely valid reason. Like, you don't have to add anything more to that just to be able to say, I don't want this for myself anymore. You'll get people that have an attitude towards that, which is interesting because you're not telling them that they need to do the same. But in them having that attitude, I wonder, would they actually be able to stop? And this isn't a challenge, right? This isn't like, let me challenge you if you can actually stop. No, that's not what this is. But it's just humor me for a second. If I were to say, hey, just go ahead and stop for a little bit, do you know how many wouldn't actually be able to do that? And I think there's a very legitimate reason why that they may not want to admit. But again, I think it plays a factor. So in a recent video, I showed one of my favorite creators, and LaelHansen, and she discussed honestly, just the terrible decline of luxury goods and how much you're paying. If you guys remember the whole Miu Miu video, the $18,000 spent, but like 5,000 was spent on 2 items that were terrible, like far worse than H&M quality, because I have quite a few pieces from H&M. I've never had a button break off the second I go to just take it out of the bag. Like, I've never had that. So highlighted her. Today we're just going to go ahead and look at a video from LaelHansen. So much bigger creator. She does great videos. It really is just like sitting down with a friend and being able to hear their commentary on things that are going on. And thank goodness, because I have no desire most times to venture over to the clock app. So I appreciate her sacrifice and me not having to do that. So she always says, buckle up. All right, so let's buckle up, because she does focus on, consumption, definitely the part that social media plays. And so in her recent video, it is actually titled Overconsumption is Destroying Your Life. And she highlighted something that I think could be relevant to us within sneakers. So let's just go over it.
The truth is, if not, what is it like life? What are we just living to buy stuff, to spend all of our hard-earned money? The package that's waiting for you at the door is some sort of a reward.
So just living to buy stuff, or let's just insert just living to buy sneakers. Let's just admit there are middle-aged people that is their entire dopamine hit for the week. Like, that is the focus, being able to just buy the thing. Sit with that for a second.
The unboxing of it is a reward.
Unboxing of it being a reward. We've ventured into this where everyone is creating content, right? Every part of your life ends up becoming content. So the unboxing becomes like what you're actually excited about. Not really the product, just the fact that, oh my goodness, I get to unbox this on camera, or sometimes live, depending on if you're a streamer or not. I'll just be truthful. It's much more enjoyable when you're not consuming as much. Like, actually getting the item in, you are more excited to be able to actually take it out of the packaging. I just think it does have to do with less being more. When it's happening at such a high rate, like, I can think back to when I had pair after pair after pair and thing after thing coming in. Let's just go to essentials drops. It becomes just another to-do list item. Like, it really does. Like, you get it in, you quickly have to set up, get everything done, right? Again, it's a production. You have to set the lights up, get the camera set up, make sure everything is in frame. Go ahead, unbox it. And then you throw it to the side and you have to move on to the very next thing. Like, there's no time to actually just sit with it and enjoy it for what it is.
The post about it is an even bigger reward.
It is an even bigger reward. I think this absolutely applies to this space as it stands within social media. You and I both know there are so many individuals where they care more about being able to post a pair early on whatever social platform they're on. That is the reward for them. Not that they even intend to wear the shoe, not that they have an event, a purpose for it, none of that. It's just the fact that posting it and possibly posting it early, that's the flex that they're trying to have on everyone. And people will go to certain lengths to be able to do this, which means like they'll risk getting a pair they're not really confident in the source of it, maybe, but it doesn't matter. They just want to be like the first one to post the pair like months and months in advance. And that being the reward, like again, when I say like we've lost the plot, I feel like we've lost the plot of you actually enjoying the shoe just because you enjoy it. I don't care if I got it months in advance. I don't care if I got it years and years afterwards. Matter of fact, a lot of times it feels like that gem of a find when it's not the pair of the moment, but it's just when you know have stumbled upon the right price, the right colorway, your size, and you go ahead and pull the trigger. Like that is that reward for me.
And then this cycle continues because how quickly do you forget that item that you bought? You literally buy it, maybe you wear it once or you don't wear it at all, and then you need to hit that dopamine one more time so you buy more and more junk that you never use.
Listen, in sneakers, we know this is all too real, all too well. How many of you have shoes probably from, I'm going to say 2020, that you haven't even worn yet? And then if we take it back a little bit further, maybe it is 2015, although you're kind of creeping into the danger zone now with those shoes being a decade old. So if they're dead stock, prayers to you if you wear those out in public. Please have a backup plan.
Buying products isn't just about stuff, it's about the feeling of belonging. Fashion has always been a code, and the difference now is speed and visibility. You can tell yourself that you're investing into a community by buying into a specific niche. Pilates girl, art girl, book girl, and sometimes it really does connect you somehow.
Touches on not about the stuff, it's about the feeling of belonging. And you guys know that, yes, like I think the psychology of everything in relation to sneakers and this culture, I think it plays a very big part. Even if you want to ignore it, there's a reason people in marketing get paid what they do, because they understand that the feelings and the emotions, and again, the psychology of all of this, it plays a very important part. So it's about buying into the community. Now, buying into a niche or a community, I don't think that's inherently bad. Let me just say that, because at some point, all of us bought into this. Maybe it was back when you got your first part-time job in high school, like myself, and you were able to finally buy the shoes that you wanted. I mean, I grew up in that time, finally earning my own money. The Jordan 16, the 17, the 18, these were the pairs that I was able to buy with my own money. I still remember them to this day. Maybe I'll throw the pairs up here, but they were special to me. Being able to do that, again, for myself for the very first time, that's when I really, really bought in. And some people, it's a little bit later in life. Maybe it is in your 20s and your 30s, because this is the time where you are the most stable. You have the opportunity to buy into this interest, and then it becomes this passion. It becomes so much of what you enjoy, right? We all have little things that we enjoy. I don't care if it's sneakers. I don't care if it's sport. Now, for me, I think sport will always be a tad bit deeper than sneakers, just because there'll be a point where I'm not buying. I'm already inching towards that, right? There'll be a point where I'm not buying like that, but there will never be a time where I'm not watching sports. Whether people even realize it or not, I believe one of the reasons they not only won't stop buying sneakers, but can't stop buying sneakers, even if they wanted to, it's because there's a narrative out there that's alive and well, and they have likely bought into, they believe. If they're not continuously buying in to this niche, this passion, which is sneakers, and not only buying in, but you need to buy in with the approved and the accepted sneakers, right? You need to buy in with what is actually proven, that you're into this, you care about this, you're true to this. If you don't do that, the authenticity of your passion, or if you actually even give a damn, will be questioned by people. And you could have been doing this since Jordan signed with Nike. Who wants to live like that? Who wants to have someone question the community that you bought into decades ago? Who wants to be questioned in that way?
But when the buy-in is constant, the community actually turns into a storefront.
I'm going to read this again, okay? When the buy-in is constant, The community actually turns into a storefront. That's a whole nother video in itself. Like, that's a video in itself. So we won't dive too deep into that here, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know what she's talking about. That it does start to feel like a storefront. You prove your place in this community by how many shelves you can stock in your closet. Mind you, your home should not look like a retail space. I'm talking to myself as well.
There's also this quiet fear that absolutely nobody wants to admit. If you stop buying, then who are you online? Do you care that much about an online presence? If your posts, hobbies, and friend groups live inside consumption, stepping away can feel like stepping out of your social circle. That's part of why it's so.
And then just this last little part, right? So I definitely did take notes. So let's just look. She said, the quiet fear nobody wants to admit. If you stop buying, who are you online? And so much of what we see in sneakers, it has gravitated to online. Not that it didn't have a place online before, right? You had Nike Talk, and we had online forums in the, back in the day. So I'm not saying social media is something that is just drastically new in having these conversations centered around sneakers and this passion and collecting, but it's become so much of the identity of individuals online, where if they stop posting, and maybe they just, again, it could be you stop posting, you just simply fall back from buying, because all too often people expect, well, if you're posting, it should be new things that you're buying. I'm not sure who has made people like the judge, jury, and executioner of how we should run social media, but it's assumed that if you're posting, then it's new things that are coming out. You will question, like who am I? And I know I'm not alone in thinking that, because at some point, especially if you are a creative, you've had that thought. If I'm not doing X, Y, or Z, then who am I? Which is why I think it is very important, whether you create intentionally or you just share your life. I think it is very important to understand that simply the things you enjoy, they are not the sum total of you in terms of what people see online, right? There's so much of your life that can be the best parts of it that are not online. So please, just keep that at the forefront. But said, if your hobby or your online presence is rooted in consumption, stepping away can feel like stepping outside of your social circle. You may start to lose a connection with people that you had a very deep one with, because you are no longer moving the same way that they're moving. Some of you are going to experience that in life, and it has nothing to do with sneakers, but you may find that it jumps off. Maybe not with sneakers by itself, right? It can be with going out. It can be with having a more active lifestyle. It can be with simply being more intentional about you wanting to be ambitious at work and you're wanting to pursue different things. You may start to grow apart. That social circle is not going to look the same. And it's okay that it doesn't. I know it's jarring when changes can happen to your social circle, but if those circles are rooted in hyper consumerism, that could truly be for the best for you. And listen, to wrap this up for myself, I look back and I'm so happy that I chose to title my channel when I rebranded back in 2018, Talks with TJ, because I can simply talk about what it is I want to talk about. It doesn't necessarily have to be sneakers in the traditional sense of let me unbox it, let me review them. You and I both know that gets old after a while. You know it, I know it. It does to a certain extent. It does. You've seen a review, and I'm not going to say it's necessarily you've seen one, you've seen them all, but there are only so many unique things you're going to bring to the review and unboxing of a sneaker. So me allowing myself the freedom, I didn't even know it then, but the freedom to just have conversations about the things I'm interested in. Yes, it's sneakers, but it's also so many other things. It's not not just a single focused passion. There are multiple things that I may be interested in, or multiple perspectives in terms of this industry that I may want to challenge myself in thinking, explore, and share that with you. I can do that. It's not just centered on the shoe itself, the product itself. And I'm really happy about that, because thankfully I can say, and you guys have seen this, I made that decision to step away from buying. I'm not questioning, though, my passion, or I'm not questioning how will I still show up. How I show up may shift, it may evolve, which is great. I think it's great. I think that is a natural evolution. I have been thinking about how do I want to show up on social media, especially as we're moving through Q4, looking ahead to 2026. How do I want to show up? And that could be different. But I'm glad to say that back in the day, I probably wouldn't have been the person that's like, oh, yeah, I could easily just stop buying if I wanted to. I, like so many of you, I would just be fiending to be able to like buy a pair, or just because I liked it, I would buy it. It takes time to get past that. And some people don't want to get past it. Let me also be clear. For some, they are so content with buying every and anything that they want at the drop of a hat. So they have no desire to pull back on that at all. They have no desire to stop. And if that is you, please don't let me deter you. Do whatever it is for you. But if you're ever someone where you say, I could stop if I wanted to, really ask yourself, could you? And if you find that you're struggling with the thought, the idea of it, then maybe dig deeper and ask why. And then beyond that answer, why again and why again. You may learn some crazy things about yourself. You may not like them, but self-awareness is important. So hopefully you guys like this video. Again, it's not going to be your traditional conversation around sneakers. And yes, I have a video up in which I share my thoughts, again, a little differently on the entire Cool Kick situation. So if you would like to check that out, please go right ahead. I'm sure that video will be linked in the description box or at the end of this video. I truly appreciate you all tuning in. As always, act your age, not your shoe size.